Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. We're recording today from the Advisors Mortgage Group studios right here in downtown or near downtown Carmel, Indiana. And I'm Rick Rittman, the hardworking mortgage guy. I've been in real estate and in the mortgage industry for over 34 years, helping over 5,200 folks finance their homes. My team and I believe in custom tailored loans, not the one-size-fits-all approach. We believe there is a best mortgage for you, and we are the team to deliver it.
And I'm Ian Arnold, part of Rick's hardworking mortgage team. I've been in the financial industry for 15 years, helping customers find the best possible financing. I'm an expert on working on people's credit and helping them build their overall wealth. My passion is helping you build your financial goal and your security and your wealth.
And as we get started, I just wanted to remind you, for the most up-to-date information on mortgages or the Indy's real estate market, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com or 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And we are really excited today to be talking with real estate guru Becki Cronin with FC Tucker.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Excited to be here.
Well, we appreciate it very much. You have a very interesting background to me, anyway. I thought talking to you in the background. So, how did you get? What did you do before real estate? What kind of give us an idea of your background?
Call it my There've been several careers. Before real estate, I had my own. I was an entrepreneur. I started my own company, cleaning company, and that ran for about 12 years. But my husband is in real estate in another capacity, and he always said, "You'd be really great at real estate. You'll be really good at it." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I had no idea. In fact, I thought it was like somebody with a bunch of frou-frou hair and tiger stripe and high heels and a lot of jewelry and something out of Dallas or Dynasty, which you won't relate to at all.
Whoa,
but
whoa. Rick had the foofy hair for a little while.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you tell I have fluffy hair? Yeah.
But anyway, so I had no concept of what a real estate agent really did. And so I was just kind of told him no. My daughter, my youngest, graduated high school, and we went down to visit my husband's folks in Florida and just kind of took spring break right before graduation and kind of trying to figure out what she's going to do. She's going to go to school. So I took the book with me, the pre-license inch
What
thick
everybody
book
does on vacation.
on spring break and
Yeah.
read through it. And I thought, well, if I can do that and still manage my cleaning company, we'll see. I'll go through the class. So I go through the 3-week all-day class, and I could still manage it because I was managing the company from, somebody else was doing all the day-to-day stuff. So, okay, well, I'll take the next step and, interviewed with a whole bunch of brokers and talked to them. And I still had no idea what this was all about. One of them said to me, "Now you're going to bring all your cleaning companies, clients on as clients." And I was like, "What? You don't give me clients?" I had no idea. So, but that's how, and he was right. I should have done it a long time ago.
Yep.
But I did have a great experience being an entrepreneur and starting on my own company. So
You're
that
still
was
kind
worth
of
it.
an entrepreneur.
You are.
As a
Yeah,
real estate
every
agent,
one of
you
us is.
definitely are.
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
Sure,
I know
yes.
there's even back farther. You picked cherries.
I did.
That was a job
That's
you had.
a few more years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my very first job.
Okay. Was that fun?
I remember that pay stub went in my diary.
Oh, it did.
I was about 11, and it's probably still in there somewhere, 11 or 12. And my uncle was a fruit farmer, Southwest Michigan, cherry capital of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is anymore, but he was
I
a
think
fruit
they still
farmer,
claim
and
it.
the whole family went for the summer, and everybody was doing something different. And the youngest and my youngest brother, were sent up sweet cherry trees in the sweet cherry orchard, and we were picking sweet cherries by the lug. And when you're 11 and you pick sweet cherries, you eat a lot of sweet cherries.
Oh, yeah.
So we were just kind of bluish purple when we got home. And my grandma, she knew this, and she had cherry pie for dessert. And we were like, no. it was like they were lugs. You put them in lugs, and it was like $2.50
Wow.
a lug, and you just sit there all day.
Yeah, I would have been.
It was
eating
like
them
daycare,
today.
really.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'd eat them today. And then you were in radio in Colorado.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I did right out of college. I went to Central Michigan University, and I was working at this station there for nothing. Just doing it because that's how you do it. And my dad was program director. He has a long history in racing, or not racing, in radio. He started out of college and was, so he was out in Colorado, and he said, "Well, come to work." I thought, pay someone, go to college, get paid, go do the same
There
thing.
you
So
go.
I left college and went out to Colorado and worked at a
Awesome.
radio station out there
Yeah.
as an on-air personality. Had my own T-shirts and the whole thing.
That's awesome.
So-
And then you were in racing.
And then I was
Auto
in racing,
which is that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah,
so
I
had to
could
get to
tell.
that. I had to get to that.
I can tell. And this is the city for it.
Yes, it
It's
is.
the greatest city for racing. Yeah, my family is all was all. There's a couple of them still doing things, very involved in IndyCar racing, open wheel racing here in Indy. So after I was in the Air Force. That's a whole other story. After I got out of the Air Force, I came back and worked with the Championship Association of Mechanics.
Okay.
So this was their nonprofit member organization. And they had a school and all kinds of fun stuff. So I worked with the mechanics on all the race teams.
Awesome. And that was
back in the
marketing.
day. Yeah, I
Yep.
ran the office. I just
Awesome.
kind of took care of the newsletter and the membership and the
Okay.
dues and the books and kind of everything.
Yeah. And then you were rural electric cooperative.
Yeah.
Marketing.
How many is that?
I don't know. That's
I mean,
one.
I
That's
don't
a lot.
really count the cherry picking as a career, okay?
I haven't heard McDonald's. You didn't work at McDonald's?
I didn't. I never worked at McDonald's.
All
My
right,
brother
well,
did.
Time to
That
go
was
work.
like a rite of
Let's stop real. You can go work for McDonald's.
That's a rite of passage for a lot of people. Yeah, so the rural electric cooperatives, I came on just as an admin assistant, and that was the Indiana State Association started up this organization for a marketing group because there was talk back in the 02, 03, 04. No, I can't remember when that was. Somewhere around there. There was talk about deregulating electric.
Okay.
It never happened, but it scared a lot of the rural electric cooperatives across the country. And so they started marketing. So they started giving their clients compact fluorescent light bulbs and
Okay.
long distance telephone cards. Remember those when you had to punch in all the numbers to get a discount on long distance and all that kind of stuff that's foreign to a lot of people. But we did that.
Yeah,
So
Ian would know about that, would he?
I'm not that young.
we sold all those kinds of things that they could add to the membership. And so I traveled across the country. There's, like 5,000 rural electric cooperatives across the country. So that's
Awesome.
what I did there. I ended up national accounts manager there and then just decided to pivot.
Do you think all those things help you in your real estate career?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How does that?
Even the cherry picking.
Hey,
She's a cherry picker.
Hey, that's just hard work, though.
It is.
I mean,
It's just hard. You just got to stay up in that tree.
Yeah, and eat cherries.
And get the cherries
Yeah.
done. Yeah, yeah. Every single one of them, the jobs, I take something from that. Even if it's relational, learning how to just work with other people well, to being patient and calm, and there's so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
so I do like to make a good point because Rick
Okay.
and I talked when I first
Once
got
in a while he does.
Yeah.
Not often.
Yeah. I don't think anybody could talk to Rick that long. Let's be honest. But so when I first started, he's like, you know what? I got told I should have collected all emails and business cards from everybody from high school on, and just held on to them
Okay.
for that. And you were talking about going back, and your husband's they were like, hey, go back to your cleaning people, talk
Yeah.
to them about it.
Yeah,
And
right.
So that made me think about that. I'm like, oh, that's same thing. Like
Shoulda
Rick was,
always-
it should always collected those. So you
The
always have people's
Rolodex?
count.
Remember
Yep.
the
Rolodex. Yeah,
Yep.
that's important. Rolodex.
And then
is
we had
important.
those super cool PDAs, with
Yeah.
the little pen. I would have loved my little PDA.
So let's get into. So what's your family like?
My family, I am an empty nester. I am officially an empty nester. My youngest went to IUPUI. Her plan was 2 years there, the rest of it at Purdue, get her degree at Purdue. She loved it so much downtown, so she got her degree from IUPUI.
Awesome.
But she stayed home the whole time, no debt. She
That's
worked
awesome,
4
isn't it?
jobs. She
Wow.
worked at the Tucker office on the weekends and, took care of dogs and things like that, all kinds of different. And she worked on campus with oncology, radiology right there
Wow.
at IUPUI.
She's a hard worker.
She's a hard worker.
That's awesome.
When she got her first job, it was like not traumatic for her, but it was definitely an adjustment from working 4 jobs and studying a very in-depth major. She went to work and then she was like texting me all the time. Not all the time, but like I'd never heard from her before. But so my youngest, and she's getting married in September.
Congratulations. That's
to
great.
her college sweetheart. And my oldest is on my team with me. And we're trying to figure out what fits her best as she comes into real estate. She's been a year now, but and she's expecting our second grandchild.
Wow. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So those are my 2 kids, and
Awesome.
they're both still pretty close by, within 40 minutes. So.
All right. So I hate to cut you short, but we are coming up on the break. How would somebody get a hold of you?
My phone number probably is the best way, 317-622-8339.
Uh,
And again, what is that number?
317-622-8339.
You're
Oh.
young. You should remember that. It's 317-622-8339.
What is it? What is it?
Hard to say.
Come on.
The tongue slips up. a
All
little
right,
bit.
Rick.
I
And how
wrote it for you right there. Come on.
And how would people get a hold of us, Rick?
Well, that's harder. It's hardworkingmortgageguy.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com or 317-672-1938. 317-672-1938.
And reminder, after the break, we will go into what is Becki's superpower. And tune in after the break. Hey, welcome back from the break. And thank you for tuning in. And guess what? We still have Becki here. She stayed after the break. Well, I was kind of shocked. I thought she was going to run for the door. But so before we get into what is Becki's superpower, it is time for question of the week. Good news is the question of the week is sponsored by Rick and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we believe in helping and supporting you and your realtor by sending you constant updates on your loan process. And trust me, that is so huge for a lot of people. But so for the question of the week though is, what was your first car?
It was a used 1992 Chevy S10.
That's a good one.
No,
Yeah.
that's a lie. It was not a 92.
It's lying to
It
us
was an
already.
82
82.
Chevy S10 pickup.
That's still a
Yeah,
good
I was like,
car.
wait, 92? I had my first kid by then.
Yeah.
No, this was way before that. And it was out west, the Bureau of Land Management is like an organization, governmental organization.
Yep.
Everything's tan, and it was that.
Awesome.
It was the ugliest
Beautiful.
car there was. But I lived in Colorado at the time, and, pickup truck comes in handy. You got to put your dog in the back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. I as you know, I love cars, so I love hearing what people had. And most people, no matter what, even if you didn't like the color and all that, it holds a special place in your heart.
It was the first
Yeah.
I had to pay for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just your first independence,
Yeah.
really, from your parents and able to go somewhere without mom or dad right on your side.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it holds such a value to people.
What was your favorite car so far?
My favorite car, I had a 69 427 Corvette convertible.
Ooh.
I had nitrous oxide on it, put a
Uh-oh.
5-speed in it. It was
Uh-oh.
it-
That was fun.
I'm lucky to be alive. But that was my favorite car. But
Yeah. They're
I
all
have
favorite
great
in their
cars.
way.
Yeah. I'm driving a BMW now. I've never had a BMW, never really thought I would, but once I got in one, I can't believe how great it drives.
What BMW?
750.
What series? A 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Big old,
I'm old
big
now.
old thing. Yeah.
But it's comfortable. It's got everything. I want another Corvette. I'll probably get a 2019.
Okay.
I like
You
the
don't like the new
mid-engine
ones?
cars, but
Okay.
I just like the look of a front engine car over a mid-engine car.
Okay.
Um,
The
and
new Corvettes look like supercars, and
They
that
look
is
like almost
so
like a
cool.
McLaren
They
and
I
they
stuff.
think
look
it's
Yes.
really cool
they're
that they
beautiful.
stepped it up like that.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. I'm a huge Corvette fan, so I don't know how long they've talked about having a mid-engine Corvette. It
Wow,
took
a long time.
forever
Yeah.
for that to come out, but it is. Yeah, when you see it coming down the road, it looks like
cool.
a Ferrari
They're
or
so
a Lambo
cool.
or
Yeah.
any of those. It's a
Sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the motors. I don't know what those cars weigh, but I know it's not very much.
Yeah.
And when you take one of those and you put 700 horsepower in it, or even 500 horsepower in it, it's got to be scary.
Yeah.
I know it is scary fast.
Yeah. And you don't even know how to do that, right? Do you remember the movie with Sylvester Stallone in it? The Driven
Oh, yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those cars are mechanics in the school at the time. It was called CAM, Championship Association Mechanics. They put those together, and they put motorcycle engines in those cars
Okay.
for them, because otherwise
Yeah,
they couldn't drive
no.
them.
Right.
Because a regular Indy car, it just, the skill level is so high.
Right.
They would just flip them around and run them right into a wall. You just couldn't drive them. So they put little motors,
Yeah.
Anyway, I
don't-
digress.
You do not want to get in a car and not be a professional and go
And
230
for it.
miles an
Yeah.
hour down a racetrack. At least I don't.
I bought my husband, I don't know if they're even doing it anymore, but they used to have cars with with the motorcycle engines in them that you could get in and go around the speedway.
Oh, okay.
And I bought him one of those. I don't think they do it anymore. They just do the 2-seater. But he
Yeah.
said that was a thrill. And he knew he was going half the speed they were. And he had to follow somebody. He couldn't just go willy-nilly
Right.
out there. But that was really exciting to
Yeah,
see the
just to go
banking
on the
from a
track.
car. I
Yes.
mean, the chassis was the Indy car, but the engine was a
If
motorcycle.
anybody hasn't been in a vehicle that's sitting on the ground, they don't realize what that does to the perception of the speed that you're going.
And the feel.
Yes, you're just
You
it
feel
feels
everything
like you're
down there.
yes, and it feels like you might be going 50 miles an hour, but you think you're going 200 miles an hour because you are right on the ground. It is a total different feel.
Yeah.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that, especially when you're on the track, and I've done a lot of the mini marathons and stuff like that, where you actually run on the track, and you don't realize the
Banked it in.
banks and stuff. And actually, and now then think about driving a car on that. It's nothing like you're normally driving. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that people are like they do the 2-seaters, and I
They-
actually bought my dad tickets to do the 2-seaters and
Okay,
everything. So
cool.
for his birthday one year.
Cool. That
But-
would be fun. I would
yeah.
like to do that. Try that one time.
But it's just one of those things that I was like, yeah. Once I ran on that track, I'm like, I did not even realize how much of a bank and stuff those turns are.
And it's a
Many-
flat track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many of the people in my family have been on race teams, so mechanics and all sorts of. And when they would get in a car with one of the drivers and go around a track, it would scare. I don't know what you can say. It would scare them
I'll bet.
unbelievably, and they're around it all the time. But when
Yeah.
you get in the car and you're not in control, it's really very frightening.
Yes, it is. It's crazy.
So
Yeah.
when you're showing houses and somebody's riding with you, do you drive safe or do you drive like an IndyCar guy? What?
I am not known for driving slowly. I know. Let's see how we put it. Luckily, most people don't go in the car with me. They drive themselves. In this day and age, everybody just GPSs and does their own thing. When someone is in the car with me, I do try to drive slower. But I have seen a few of I'm like, oh, I got to just relax a little because I love to drive fast.
Yeah,
It is I just love to.
it's fun.
So it is fun.
It is fun. It's fun, especially accelerating. Acceleration is fun.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. So we're gonna have to get off cars and actually talk about.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
So we would like to know though, what would you say your superpower or superpowers are?
Not apexing very well. 'Cause you had to say that for cars, I actually didn't know until I started working with people and started getting feedback. And they would say, "You're so calm." you make us feel like everything's under control. Even though we just got bad news, we feel, and like several times in 1 week, clients were telling me this, and I thought, that must be my superpower, and it must be because I don't feel that way inside. I'm like, oh, I gotta deal with this, but I guess I project calm confidence on the outside. So, which you've been in this industry, you know how
Vitally
volatile,
important.
emotional it can get, and you've got professionals, real estate and lenders, you've got to stay calm and be the voice of reason.
Yes, because when you aren't, well, first, your customers are always going through tons of emotion through the
Right.
entire
Oh
process,
my goodness.
right?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I sold new houses for 11 years.
Okay.
And I mean, we had 6 months of the emotions that people would go through, right? Excitement, depression, the whole thing,
Yeah.
things happening in the house, all that. And if you as a real estate agent have to be the one, if you don't keep calm,
Nobody's going to be calm.
it's not going to be calm. And it's going to be 10 times worse.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being, and it's obvious that you're a very level, consistent person.
Thank you. And that is important, not just with our clients, but the other professionals that we work with.
Absolutely.
I've held the phone out arm's length with agent or, person yelling, because they're upset about something that's out of everyone's control. And we have to be professional and deal
Yes.
with each other the same way as well.
Yes.
So I pride myself on having very good relationships with most other agents.
Yeah. And that's
helps
important.
Yeah.
It's important in the deal there, but it's also important when you're going to, when you make an offer on a house, that the agent knows who you are. They feel comfortable with you. They know what kind of person you are. That helps your client get the deal.
Yes. I would say it really does
It
sometimes.
makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. If everything else is equal.
Yeah.
And okay, this real estate agent causes problems and they want to negotiate everything and they want to fight everything. And this one is really easy to work with and great. Even if it's not an equal deal, I think for the client needs to know, but for me, I would rather have somebody that I know it's not going to go through smoothly and there's not going to be any issues over. If there's any issues, this one's going to be hard to deal with, and they're going to want everything, and it's just hard.
Yeah.
And so I think that makes a difference. I think being known in the real estate industry makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still working on that.
I think you're way down the road on that. Okay. I think you're way down the road. So
what does your team look like? I know you mentioned you got in-laws that are roughly in there. So what does your team look like?
My official team started a year ago and my daughter joined. And we're trying to just kind of figure out where she is. And I heard someone couch the term Care Bear. And I think that's kind of where she's going to head, not doing showings and listings and things like that, but kind of taking care of the back end, making sure everybody's feels good and is taken care of.
Right.
So she
Which
sends the flowers. She,
awesome.
gets my pot buys ready and things like that. She just, those touches. And she's also organizing the events that we do, like the Indians game, things like that. So we're shifting, and I've got another gal that's looking to come on in maybe later this month. She has to go through school. So, and then we're actively recruiting a couple more people right now. So look to by early June having 2 more agents on board. So it's a very small team, and I want to keep it small as far as my goal. I've had 11 employees before and things like that. I really want to mentor. I want to lead someone who's new. I don't care what age they are, but I want to lead someone who's new and kind of help them through this. I wasn't new so long ago, and I think I have some value to add there. And so that's kind of how my team is structured. When someone comes on and they're new, they'll be like a showing agent or a buyer's agent and help with all those things. And I'll teach them the craft as they go along.
But what main characteristic, when you're looking at getting somebody, are you looking for?
I was just meeting with our one of our recruiters at Tucker this morning, and we were talking about that. And I said, honestly, I want the openness and willingness to learn, to be an open book and learn. Everything else is just practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
I mean, so someone that is eager and interested, they'll do well on the team. Now, I'm also bringing on a more seasoned agent that maybe doesn't need, but they need to be willing to mentor.
Right.
Because every seasoned agent is going to always have someone they're mentoring and bringing up, and then they'll replicate and replicate, and that's kind of how the team will run.
So I know we're coming up on the break or the end of the radio part. So how would somebody get a hold of you?
Best is my phone number, 317-622-8339. And I also have Indy.real estate as the website.
Indy.real estate?
Indy.real estate,
Okay.
yeah.
That one wasn't taken?
That's
That sounds
mine.
like a pretty
It
good
is
one.
taken. It's mine. Yeah, that's mine.
Indy.real estate.
Is it? That's it.
it.
It's Indy.real estate.
So real estate
HTTPS /
Semicolon,
colon Indy.real estate.
So
Yeah.
real estate is a new
It's a, yeah.
like .com.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
there's .realtor, which can only be for someone that's in the National Association of Realtors, can get their name .realtor, or something to that effect, and then they have .real estate. So yeah, I've got quite a few of them, but Indy is the main one.
Yeah,
So
well, you want something people can remember that is accurate
easy.
on what you do. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really good.
Oh, and Rick, how would somebody get a hold of us?
Go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. I don't know why, but I'm always worried I'm going to say the phone number incorrectly, but call there. 317-672-1938. I don't know.
And if you want to finish this up on the podcast, go to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. On any local podcast, you'll find us on any of the major ones. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Hey, welcome back. And if you chose from the podcast from this chapter, you chose the right one. So we still have Becki, and she still has not ran out on us. I'm still surprised. But so I have a really good question.
Okay.
What do you think your most memorable deal was?
They're all memorable. I really like to help women, especially single women, obtain real estate, own their own home. But the one that really was memorable, just last year in Carmel, I had a lady that was buying a place out in Phoenix. Her husband had passed away. She's retiring from her job and just had a house full, 6,000 square feet of life, raising children, work, retirement, the whole thing. And it was just a pleasure to help her navigate all of that. And her daughters really did most of the heavy lifting, but just having people come in, get rid of things for them, prepare the house for them, because she couldn't do all of that. And then the other one that's really probably my favorite, just because that's my daughter came on and she loves to organize and stage. And we had a house where someone had just basically left everything and moved away. And they said, just how much do I pay you? And we said, you don't have to pay us. Sell all that. So we basically cleaned out 3 floors.
Wow.
Had a full basement, walkout basement, and 2 upper levels. And my daughter handled all that. And that was a lot of fun, actually, to go through and then sell the house and just help people with that, because I was noticing that coming up as neighbors would, from the listing that I had, the neighbors would end up selling with someone else that puts a sign up that says, "We buy houses," kind of thing. And I asked the question on one of them, how much did they sell that house for? And it was a low price house, and it was under 200, but they sold it for 40 grand less than market value. to this other, but they got to walk away. They took the
Right.
stuff they wanted and left everything else. And I told my daughter, I said, we can do that. And we did. And that was a great accomplishment. And we offer that as service now, is to be able to, for those people that just want to, it's too much. It's a big elephant they can't take a bite out of. So that's very satisfying.
You do not realize how much stuff you have until you start to move. So, I mean, I used to,
Yes.
back in the apartment days when you go from apartment to apartment every other year, it's shocking how much stuff you own
Yes.
and accumulate. And
Yes.
imagine 20, 30 years living in a house and how much stuff you accumulated.
My kids are terrified.
Well, she got
They-
practice, though. She knows how to do it now.
We've got a lot of garage space, and we've got 2 attics, and we've got 16 closets, I think. And when each kid moved out, I took over those closets, and they're full again. They're not empty. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
How is it that when the space is empty, it always has to get filled up?
I don't know.
But it's how it works.
I did that. I did the same
It's
thing.
how it works.
Yeah.
What is something you're really proud of within your business?
Well, I think helping people when it seems insurmountable. That brings me the most satisfaction. And then helping women be able to own a home. And I had several last year that were, their rent, they were fed up. Their rent had increased a lot.
Right.
It was not even attainable anymore. It was not worth it for them. And now they're homeowners. And one is her forever home, and she's excited to be there, and she's in the neighborhood she wants to be. The other one said, we'll be setting this up as a rental as soon as I get back on my feet. And, so I love to see that. Anybody really, but just, I believe so much in owning real estate. I am always talking about it night and day. So you just get used to that. If you're hanging around me, I talk about real estate.
Great way to build wealth, right?
Yeah, it is. It is the
way.
easiest way.
Yeah.
And I saw some clients over the last couple of years that made a lot of money because of timing. I think those days are gone, but they've made a lot of money.
Yeah. But even then, even if they're gone, those people who are like they still stayed in their homes, they got that appreciation.
Oh yeah, the people that are still yes. These folks I was thinking about they bought in 2019 and sold last year, and they made a cool $100,000 on under $300,000.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? Yeah,
That's a pretty good investment.
Yeah, very good. I said, I don't think you could have done that on the stock market. Yeah.
The problem is they probably had to go buy another house, and
they luckily didn't, and that was why that was such a
really
sweet.
helps. Yeah.
It was a work. It was in the pandemic, most people, they basically were told he could go remote. He didn't have to come into town anymore, and so he got to get rid of that place. Still had their home back home.
Okay.
And so it was like one of those work.
I notice a lot of works though are not letting that happen anymore. They're saying, like my sister-in-law works at a place in Carmel that they went away from working in the building, and slowly but surely they've had them come back. Oh, you got to come back 2 days, and if you don't live here, you either got to come back or you don't have a job anymore. I mean, that's what's happened.
Yeah, and I think the millennials definitely are driving some of that, wanting their work life to be different. You remember when we first started studying generations, that was like a thing like in the late 90s. And I mean, people probably always have.
Her name was. It started.
Yeah. And they talked about how the baby boomers, how dockers were a baby boomers thing. They never pants were like that before, comfortable. And, they were always slacks and suits. And I think millennials is going to be the work space. Like that's their thing. I don't know if they want to be identified that way or not, but we're seeing that translate to, people wanting the open space, but we also need some doors that close because I have to do Zoom meetings or what, or I need to just work and not have the noise and the distractions. So
absolutely.
And some businesses are making everybody come back. So it's kind of mixed.
Yeah, it is very mixed.
Yeah. I think you miss out on some of like my wife works from home from time to time, and it's just like, who do you talk to? I get home and she's chatting my ear off, and I'm like,
She's
honey,
got her 20,000 words to get
you
out
know?
of, or whatever that is.
But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things is I think sometimes you miss, and especially in our job, it's a learning thing. Like my wife's an accountant, so her job is basically the same at most days. But with us is we have obstacles that we have to go through. And sometimes it's nice to hear, oh, well, that's how that person just overcame that.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I'm
Camaraderie.
a
right?
come in the office person.
Are you?
Yes, I never, through the pandemic, I never worked out of my house.
Interesting. Okay.
I always came in.
And with having the company before, the cleaning company, it was out of my house, and so they had their own space and everything. But I, for years, have been working from home. So
Well, I think my problem is I am very, very easily distracted. So
it's
I'm
a
not,
discipline.
it's
You have to
that's
build.
what I'd say. I'm
Yeah.
not disciplined enough to work out of my house because I would always find something. Now, I'm pretty good. I do it on Saturday and Sunday if I need to do something, and I'm pretty good at that. But I'm way too easily distracted.
Yeah. I tell people like that if they have that issue, get up and get like you're going to the office. Get dressed,
Oh, I do.
do everything like you normally would, and then go sit at your desk. I mean, yeah, that's
And I do.
Yeah.
But I'm easily distracted here
yeah,
too.
yeah. I get that. I resemble that remark a little bit, Rick.
It's just how I am.
I am like that
So
too.
if somebody's looking to hire a real estate agent, what characteristics should they look for?
That's going to vary depending on their personality, how they vibe with somebody. But obviously, you want to make sure they have the professional level of professionalism that you can see it through their memberships or their associations or their designations after their name or whatever it is. But you want somebody that has a lot of you can go on Google and look at their reviews and things like that. But integrity is important in this. I feel like in this industry, and as in any, you've got to have a lot of integrity and be professional.
Yeah, I obviously all that is important.
Yeah.
And but it's hard sometimes for people when you have somebody come in, let's say you're listing your house, and they come in and from what I hear, many people just the first person they interview, that's it. They just cancel the other appointments. And it's like, that's good, but you really should talk to, as long as you get to know them and this is the right person, because there's a long relationship that you have with somebody. You either are helping them buy a house or sell a house. I mean, that relationship lasts a long time.
I'm not in the ground yet, so mine all are continuing.
Yeah.
I stay in touch
Exactly.
with all of my
'Cause it's
clients as
important.
best I can. I mean, if
Yes.
they've moved away and they, are doing something different, but I do tend to stay in touch.
Yeah.
And I tell them that when they pick a lender, I say, you can call a few people and just make sure you feel really comfortable with them. They're handling a big asset for you.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
be comfortable.
Yeah, it's very
You
important.
really have to be comfortable.
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, they have to have integrity. You have to trust them.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
to feel really good about.
No fiduciary. I mean, that means something.
Yes.
And people don't think of that word. We don't throw that word around, but there's some responsibility on your part, on my part, in a transaction to be doing what's best in the best interest of our clients.
Now, what do you find yourself spending your time on as a real estate agent?
What I like to do, I love to dig in and stats and
Oh, do you?
oh yeah, I'm kind of a nerd that way. That's not appropriate to say. I don't know.
That's
I
definitely
love
appropriate to
I
say.
love figuring it out and looking. I try and keep a pulse on the main areas that I work throughout the city and love that. Honestly, I like every part of it except for the hard parts.
But they're all easy,
I
right?
love working with buyers. I really enjoy working with buyers, and first time home buyers just make me smile, because usually they're ready and open and willing, and it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
I like listings too. They are a lot less time consuming, and it's a lot of fun to stage and do all those things and help somebody get on to the next step. I mean, it's their journey. So.
Right.
What would be one interesting fact that you would like to give somebody?
Oh, don't listen to national media.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not a secret though.
No.
But I mean, every single day I'm with somebody and they say, "How's the market? I've been hearing." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever you've been hearing, that's for Boston or LA or Seattle or Phoenix or it's such a conservative area
Well, not to mention that our market in general is just completely
yeah.
different.
Yes.
Rick and I have talked about this several times. Is you'd watch and they're like, "Oh, house depreciation is hitting," and yet our depreciation
happened here.
skyrocketing.
Never happened here.
Oh, appreciation. Sorry.
Yeah. The upside of that is, we're a lot more consistent and we don't see the highs and lows. It's very steady, which I happen to like steady. So that's a lot of times I just want to tell people, that's not our market.
I quit watching the news. I don't even call it news anymore, but I quit watching any of that several years ago. So my wife will say, "Well, you have to watch it. How do you keep up?" Like, well, since I don't believe most of what they say, because the things I know about, when they report them, they're wrong. Right. So they report, and it's all about scare tactics, right? It's all that they want to do is scare us.
Clickbait, isn't that? It's clickbait.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I don't listen, and I know, and so my response to her is, so you listen to the news, yeah? Well, how do you know what's going on? Because you can't believe what they say. So how do you know what's going on, right?
Who does know what's going on?
I'm not sure anybody does anymore, because you don't.
Yeah.
It's so hard because you don't really know. I mean, you can't. I don't know.
There's so much bias on every different direction.
Exactly.
Even the ones that say we're unbiased. I think they're biased.
Everybody, yeah, and they are, and it shows.
So you have to filter that. And I think of my grandsons coming up. They have to learn how to filter through everything they get and figure out where someone's coming from, because how else are they going to navigate in this world?
And there's a ton of information coming at them now.
Yeah.
I mean, information overload can happen very, very quickly.
So, looking towards the future, what do you see like in the next year or 5 years for you and your company / even the housing market?
You guys probably have more of a pulse on interest rates and what we expect. I kind of think this year is going to be up and down and up and down, is my guess. And so I'm going to tell clients, if you got to move. Let's do it. Let's make it happen if that's what you need to do. If you're doing it because you think you're going to make money, you better make sure you have a place to go and that you're not going to lose money there. The company, our team, and we're an FC Tucker team, so we have the resources of FC Tucker behind us, and I love that company. And they're growing and expanding. My team, we expect to be probably a half a dozen or so by this time next year. And just helping people get this done and not having the stress that we usually associate with, buying or selling a house. So, I mean, this is real simple, but that's the truth.
Well, what we see in the market, I think that rates are going to come down this year.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I think that now I'm talking mortgage rates.
Yeah, right.
The problem is, and this is back to the media, when the feds raise the federal fund rate, they report that the interest rates went up, which isn't totally inaccurate. But when they raise the federal fund rate, what it affects, that's an overnight rate. Member banks pay for money overnight, right? And prime is 3% above that. So if you have a prime, like a home equity line of credit or a credit card, anything short term, that's going to be very affected. But as they raise the federal fund rate, it's actually good for inflation. It's going to bring inflation down because it increases the cost of money. Inflation is the arch enemy of mortgage rates because mortgages are a bond that traded on the market, right? They're mortgage bonds.
Yep.
So what happens is this is all going on. Mortgage rates are going to come down. bad economies give us better mortgage rates. It happens every time. And with the inflation, we're in a bad economy, right? And the employment numbers are starting to come out. It's really weird, but if you look back at history, when we have a big downturn, okay, in our economy, and we're in a recession, recessions tend to start when employment is at its highest.
Yeah.
And then it turns and comes down.
Yeah.
The feds are sitting there and go, well, employment's too high that we can't be in a recession. Well, look at history, because it happens every time this way. Everything else is slowed down. So I think that's what's going to happen. My belief is I think this is a very, very good time to buy a house. I think it's probably the best time we've had over the last few years, and it's going to be the best time we're going to have over the next 2 years, because as rates go down, those people who got out of the market because rates went up have stayed in their apartments or their rentals for a year. They now are ready, and all those people are going to come back on the market. I think we're going to get another boom, and I think that is going to put pressure. We're still would you say we're still in somewhat of a seller's market?
Absolutely,
Okay.
100%.
And I think it's going to go way farther into the seller's market.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll get to where it was, but I think that's what's going to happen. That's why I think if somebody's looking to buy homes, they should be buying today.
You think third quarter when we'll see?
I think we're going to
fourth
start
quarter?
seeing it, the rates starting to make that move in May.
Really? Okay.
I'm-
That's earlier. I've heard some pundits saying, I call them pundits. I don't know if that's the right word.
We're
Saying
looking at May 10th.
last quarter. Okay.
May
That's
10th
really exciting.
Is a date when, nobody knows and nobody can tell you for sure.
Right.
The one wild card, I probably shouldn't say this, I won't say it the way I was going to, is the way that the feds do things that mess everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you look at what the reports that are going to come out on May 10th, and one of the big things for inflation is rent. Okay. It's the housing.
Yeah.
And that's 43% of your inflation. And if you look at it's a lagging indicator. Okay. So because you signed a lease for a year, when you signed your lease, if lease rents were way up, that's for a year. Well, May 10th is when that new number comes out, when it was really high, and we think that's going to be much lower, and it's going to show inflation down, and that should start to move our rates down. I think we'll bounce around, like you said. I think we'll bounce around until then.
Okay.
But I think it's not like May 10th is going to come and the rates are going to drop 3%, right? That's not going to happen. It doesn't happen that way.
No, it does not.
But I think it is going to come down. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And just like you guys have both said, it's not going to go like, oh, now we're here. No, now we're down to 2% again. All right, like, come on. It's just like, let's take gas prices. I mean, you look at gas prices, guess what? They shoot up. But then what happens? Oh, we'll drop 10 cents here.
Yep.
We'll drop 20 cents. Oh, now we're going to go back up 10.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Look at it as that way. It'll come down, but it's going to be a slow, gradual decline.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is, where's inventory right now?
The Indiana, you see me slump in my chair. Indiana Association of Realtors put out their report for this year, and they estimate the state to be, I think 30 or 40,000 homes short.
Yes.
There are that many people in the state of Indiana that are not going to find the home they want.
Okay. So if we're short on that kind of inventory, and rates come back down to add even more people into the market, it's like, what do you think's going to happen? It's going to go back very close to what we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great for the seller. It's tough for the buyer. And that's why I think right now, if somebody's looking, this is a great time to go look.
Right.
Again, nobody can tell you exactly what's going to happen in the market. Nobody has a crystal ball that can say this is what's going to happen, but that is the expectations. And this isn't, we listen to a company. I have a couple of them that tell me what they believe is going on. And this is a consistency in the people that I actually believe that I've actually listened to for like 18 years.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
They know what they're talking about.
And the market has definitely, I think it turned end of February.
Yes.
Started turning to multiple offers, full price.
Yes.
Contingencies removed, things like that. We're seeing
lack of
start to
inventory.
happen. happen. Not in all price points at all times, but we're definitely seeing that already. And it's early. We're not, spring's technically maybe this weekend.
Right. Yeah. Let's hope. Let's hope.
But the other nice thing to always think about, if you already own a home, you're in a different situation. So you got the choice. All right, do I want to move? Do I not? That's Now, if you're renting, you should definitely be looking at buying a home. Remember, you marry the house, you date the rate. The rate can change. But to find a house, that's where you start making your wealth. You start getting the appreciation, stuff like that. Stop giving somebody else your money.
Yeah, my husband just did an inspection for someone that lived in the home, rented the home they're now buying for the last 15 years. They rented that house and now they're buying it. And I was like, they'd be almost halfway through or done with their mortgage by now.
Yeah.
That's a tough lesson. And we don't always know people's circumstances, but it's like that just irks me. I want people to own and not rent, which I know investors don't like me to preach that, but I want people to have home ownership. That's one of the pieces of the American dream.
There's a time and place for everybody.
That and fast cars. Those are the American dream, right?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we are running out of time. We're actually over time. If somebody need to get a hold of you, what number or how should they get a hold of you?
My phone number,
For
317
Becki.
Becki, 317-622-8339. My phone number.
Okay. What was that again?
317-622-8339.
Okay.
Oh, whoa,
Leave me a message. I'll always call you back.
What's that wonderful web address?
Indy.real estate. That's our web address. Yeah. Indy.realestate.
So
I also have BeckiCronin.com, but that's a whole different website. But yeah, Indy.real estate.
Indy.real estate. When you said it's like, how do they get you there?
I jumped on early on that bandwagon.
I thought it always had to be.
.com. Yeah.
Yes.
And I did that early and I thought, and I've got Whitestown Real Estate and Brownsburg Real Estate and quite a few of them.
That's awesome.
And I think it'll catch on.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to put a .com on the end and it doesn't go there, but eventually we'll get there.
Yep. Well, and if you need to get a hold of Ian or I, it's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com or 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And make sure you follow us
at Indy's Real Estate Gurus.
Thanks for joining. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
And reminder, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or refinance, contact Rick or I, and we'll be more than happy to take care of you.
Thanks again.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Rittman's NMLS number 664589. Ian Arnold's NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.